Hey everyone, it's attorney Matthew Legan Sanchez here. Are you going through an uncontested divorce and are you wondering, what uncontested divorce papers do I need? Let's find out. You're going to need a number of different divorce papers to get your uncontested divorce finalized. First, you're going to need a DR information sheet. The DR information sheet is basically a sheet that provides all the identifying information such as addresses, names, social security numbers, date of birth, puts the court on notice of all the different parties involved and if there's children involved. Second, you're going to need a petition for dissolution of marriage. And the petition is basically just letting the court know we are requesting a divorce court. We have jurisdiction because we've lived in New Mexico for 6 months. We have or we don't have children. We reside in Bernalillo County or Sandoval County, and it lets the court know what's being requested and it opens the case. Now, third, you're always going to need a marital settlement agreement. And a marital settlement agreement, it divides your assets and your debts. So whether you have children or not, you're always going to need a marital settlement agreement. The marital settlement agreement is going to deal with your home, if any, your cars, bank accounts, retirement accounts, and it's going to deal with alimony and spousal support. So you're going to need a full agreement on all of the asset and debt issues, so tax issues, all of the debts as well are going to need to be addressed within the marital settlement agreement. Do you have a complete agreement? Great. If so, then you have an uncontested divorce and you have a marital settlement agreement that can be filed. So do you only have a 90% agreement? You agree on most of the things, but there's a little issue that you don't have an agreement on. Maybe that little issue is alimony or spousal support. If so, then you don't have an uncontested divorce. Any legal issue that is not resolved leads to a contested divorce, and you're going to have to go through the courts in that situation. So keep in mind, uncontested divorce means complete and total agreement. When children are involved, you're going to need a parenting plan. If they're adult children, if they're over the age of 18, you don't need a parenting plan. But if there's children from the marriage that are under 18, you're going to need a parenting plan. The parenting plan deals with custody, it deals with time sharing, and it deals with child support. You're going to need a complete agreement on those three elements. If you can't agree on custody, if one parent's saying, I want sole legal custody, and the other parent's saying, no, I want to follow New Mexico law that presumes that joint legal custody is in the best interest of the child, then you're not going to have a total agreement. Likewise, if you can't agree on child support, if one parent's saying, my income is this, and you're saying, no, your income is that, and one parent's saying, I should get daycare expenses that are this amount, and the other parent's saying, no, you shouldn't get daycare expenses, then there you don't have an uncontested divorce, you have a contested divorce, and the court's going to have to resolve those issues. So once again, parenting plan, custody, time sharing, and also child support. It's always a good idea to have a complete and total agreement to prevent downstream issues. On issues such as like holiday time sharing, vacation time sharing, it's not a requirement to have holiday and visitation time sharing. The court won't reject your divorce if it doesn't have that, but you could end up court in the future if, for instance, one of you wants to have the children during Halloween or Father's Day or Mother's Day or Christmas. If you don't have a complete agreement, a robust agreement regarding holiday and visitation, you could end up in court in the future. So a lot of times, if you're trying to just get a quick divorce now and you're sweeping issues under the rug, those issues can come out in the future when there's problems and it can lead to litigation. So you're always best to have a complete and full agreement. Maybe you're wondering, can my uncontested divorce be denied? It can't be denied if you have jurisdiction, if you lived in New Mexico for 6 months, and if you live in the county that you're filing in. So for instance, if you live in Bernalillo County, but you're trying to file in Sandoval County, could get rejected. If you haven't lived in New Mexico for 6 consecutive months, it could be denied. Now, if you live, you can meet the jurisdictional requirements and the county requirements. They may reject it meaning that they kick it back, but that's just for you to complete the information and to refile. So for instance, if you file a marital settlement agreement, but there's no agreement on spousal support, the reviewing judge may take a look and say, no, that's not a complete agreement, and reject it, kick it back. You're then going to have to complete the information, put in the necessary information, and then refile. The judge at that point, they'll review the documents, they'll see, is it complete? And if it is, then they'll sign off on it. So a rejection is not really a denial in the sense that they're saying, nope, you can never get a divorce here. It's more just like a road bump where they're saying, look, you need to complete this information, it's not total and complete, and then you need to refile it. Another common question is, how long is it going to take for the divorce to be completed? That really depends. Do you have a complete agreement? Is it put into the proper documents? And have you filed it? If so, assuming that your judge doesn't reject it because it's missing something, before COVID, it used to take about 5 to 10 business days. Now, after COVID, there's court-related issues, there's, some delays. The whole world is delayed because of COVID. Try going even to a movie and you're probably going to get delayed. Try to take a flight, it's going to be delayed. Court, not really different. There's going to be some delays. So it could take anywhere between 2 weeks, maybe a month. And it really depends on what court you're filing in as well. Like one court in Albuquerque versus a court in Sandoval or Grants may have different time schedules based on availability of their docket, vacations. Elements of that nature could delay the process, but generally speaking, I would expect it to be completed in about 2 weeks, I think is a good ball frame. Do you still have questions about your uncontested divorce? Do you have questions whether your divorce is going to be accepted or denied? Do you have questions about New Mexico law, your marital settlement agreement, a parenting plan? Any questions at all? Give me a call. Call attorney Matthew Legan Sanchez at 505-SANCHEZ. I'll listen to your questions. We'll get to the bottom of New Mexico law and we'll get your case filed.